One, two. Okay. Okay, guys. Sorry for slight issue. I really believe that you can all hear me now. Okay. Give me a moment. Definitely, today was a little bit of a boring morning because everybody is waiting for that CPI from US. CPI is going to play the key role for us today. And as we can see, market is already starting to price in some things, but definitely we will see in, let's say, 30 minutes, like we have 28 minutes to go. So that part is great. So let's see what markets are telling us. Definitely US dollar still a little bit lower. Nasdaq higher on a day. Everybody is expecting to get a little bit of a better data. But let's start with the dollar index. For me, the dollar index is still going to be that key driver and the key instrument to watch. Let me just change the color so you see it better. Yesterday, where yesterday, how to say it is the best. Like yesterday, market approached that area from Friday. Here for me should be a nice amount of the sellers. But we didn't see much movements. Of course, we see a push down. Then today, market retested that same order block. We are seeing a spike down. Market already done that nice push lower today, return to that same zone, and we are seeing a spike down. For me personally, I'm still bearish on the dollar index, and I'll remain bearish while market hold this area. Since we've seen a really strong momentum on Friday after that NFP, a strong push down, and definitely I would love to see market lower. We have the weekly open down here at 99.28. That's going to be my area of support at the moment and the short-term target for today. Of course, everything can change fast during the CPI later on, but in general, the main theme for me should be that weekly open. Nothing more than that. Price action is ugly, but if you want to get idea of what side of the market should we trade and focus on, definitely that should be the downside for the US dollar. And if we are bearish on the US dollar, we want to be bullish on the Euro USD. Euro USD was fine, but it's the same story, guys. If we go on the higher time frame, what's the trend that you can see? We can clearly see more higher highs, higher lows being created. So for me, the trend is still bullish. I really want to see the market reaching this 116.29 or this hourly order block. But in general, I want to see a more bullish movement. Let's go great with that idea of dollar index being a little bit weaker at the moment. And if let's say if market don't do that part and move lower, I would wait for the market to revisit that previous week's lows and start looking for the long setups from there. Of course, I really prefer to trade on the smaller time frame because I'm more a day trader. Here it's still ugly and mess. Definitely everybody is waiting for the CPI, so there is no something special about that. I would really love to see the market clearing this area because we have a lot of volatility around here 115.47 to 115.50, and for me personally, I want to see a break of that part, and after that, to use that pullbacks as a potential entry for a potential long setups. We have a small order block down here at 115.25. So we'll see how market will react, but maybe something like this can also be a potential option for us. Found slightly better in terms of movements today. How am I looking at this? Like we have a trend that's a bullish. I don't need to check. I know that when my framework indicator tell you it's bullish, that on a higher time frame you will see that higher highs, higher lows, everything that you want to see for a potential bullish market. So for me personally, 135.58 is going to be that short-term resistance that I want to see. I'm not going to look for anything more than that. On a smaller time frame, let me just clear this part up. What can we see? We can see that market is trading sideways. So some sort of triangle formation, and triangle formation is nothing more than a continuation pattern. So if we see a triangle here, the market should continue to move higher. Definitely, I believe that we missed the opportunity here to enter because we tested the small order block already that we could use as a potential long. We'll see how market will react after the CPI, but at the end of the day, we want to see a push higher. And for a trading, pullback plays can work out. The only thing you need to count in is that invalidation at the moment needs to be around here, 135.02, so 135. Okay, let me clear this. This was something we took yesterday. Worked out pretty fun. Was a little bit more aggressive setup, but worked out. Also, same story. Like trend is bullish. We want to see a further bullish momentum. Definitely, that previous week's high is that next area of interest for me. So nothing special in terms of how much room we have here. In terms of trading, if we create some sort of a pullback, I believe this can offer a potential buy towards here, since you need to use at least this low at 70.54 as your potential stop loss. And if we get into a long position right now and just target this part, we are not going to create decent risk reward. But if you wait for a pullback, definitely you can get more than 1 to 2. For me, I'm always looking for just 1 to 2. It doesn't matter if market can continue to move higher than that. 1 to 2 is all I really care about. Kiwi dollar continue to move lower. If we go here on the 4-hour time frame, definitely larger trend look bullish. Now the key question that we need to see, especially after the CPI, is that if this was enough to call this higher low completed and look for the next higher high in this range. We tested this strong liquidity over here. I want to see a clear close above this area. So above 58.68. And from there, look for a pullback place that can really work out nicely, or wait for the market to push lower, see if here we can find some buyers and from there try to get into long position after some sort of a confirmation. Because at the moment I don't see anything to confirm. That's why I'm waiting for the market to clear this area to give me some sort of a confirmation that I'm on the right side of the market, since short-term price action is more bearish, and since I want it for a long side, it's much better to wait for the confirmation. We will know more in 18 minutes after the CPI, but let's see. Dollar CAD continued to move lower. Nothing special. The trend is what? It's bearish. We have a potential smaller order block here. I would avoid this part more because of the CPI. So we'll wait for the CPI, see how market will react, and only after the CPI I would look for a pullback plays. Because if we get into trade right now, there is a strong chance, especially since this is a smaller time frame, the market will just take these highs and then move lower. But overall, I'm bearish. This pair worked this week fine, nothing special. I'm not going to say something special just because we took a short after this part. We took a short here, but in general, it took a lot of time. So I'm not crazy happy about that part, and I want to see how market will react around the CPI. Yen, we've seen some bearish momentum. I'm trying to avoid the yen because if you look at the higher time frames, definitely intervention, we are seeing some sort of a pullback. But do I trust the market to continue to move higher? Not really. Would I try to get into shorts? It's risky. So I wouldn't really waste my time here. Similar story with other yen pairs. Yesterday I wanted to try them, but nothing played out at all because we seen a range. I wanted to see a break of that range. We didn't get that part. We seen that push lower intervention here. So overall, do I trust this? No. Would they look for a long? Not really. Pound yen, same story. Yesterday, we tried to move higher, made a pullback, found some buyers, but not enough to continue to move us higher. We've seen today that strong spike down. Right now, market is still around the highs. I'm always going with that simple approach that pound dollar should continue to move higher. And I would, just because of that, be interested in the pound yen to see a continuation higher. But at the moment, I would rather wait for the pullback in the pound dollar, trade the pound dollar compared to the idea of trading the pound yen. Euro Aussie is slightly different. Just because market continue to move lower, we are following that idea of a potential trend. What's the trend here? The trend here is bearish. Do I see it a room for a further push down? Yes. What I want to see would be here previous month low, sorry guys. So 162.54, we have a room. Until markets stop creating more lower lows and lower highs, I want to continue to look for a further bearish price action. On a smaller time frame, what you can see, we can see that market, like most others this week, created some sort of a triangle that was taken down. So of course, any reason, any pullback can create a decent selling opportunity. And as always, I can use this high at 163.50 as my potential stop loss and invalidation for this short-term view. The invalidation you have always in the chart, it's marked with the line. That part is also great, but if you want to play safe, definitely this part. We have 14 minutes to go. You will get similar story. What do you see here? Like here you can quickly see that market is doing some sort of a flag. For me, this is a flag. Flag is a simple formation that contains what? Three leg against a larger trend. So I would more look for a further bearish momentum. We have a lot of, let's say, order blocks on, on the upside that we never filled. So we have a chance to either jump in after the CPI if market continue to move lower, close below 160.70, try to get a quick 1 to 2. Or if market try to move higher, I would just wait here or here, and from there try to get into potential short positions. But I'm more bearish than bullish. Crude still around the highs of the week. We look this 4-hour time frame. We have here what? We have here a three-leg move, so a flag. Before that, we had a nice spike higher. Personally, I would love to see a spike higher back to 100 before market move down. But that don't go really great with the idea of a dollar index. So maybe a new spike higher to fill the gap and then return towards the weekly open. Maybe that's a better idea at the moment. Of course, the crude is going to continue to react on any piece of information about what's happening in Iran. You know my opinion on that. I'm not going to really see much more because for me, that's all bullshit and I really don't care. Definitely, you can count this as a potential some larger triangle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like missing that 5. So you can see market already tested, like trend is bullish. We need to go with that part. We tested a smaller order block reacting from that part. So short term, definitely 84.10 is going to be that next area of resistance. But let's see, if that breaks, maybe you can use the trend line as your potential next support option. Gold, I'm waiting for the CPI just because gold at the moment can go both ways. It worked out really good for us this week. Like today we had this nice looking flag. I missed it because it wasn't home. Like market moving higher, a nice flag around the bullish order block. We had that opportunity to get into long. Right now, you have 1, 2, 3 again, test of the order block. But market is waiting to see how everything is going to work. For me personally, I would rather love to see a spike down first before we continue to move higher. Either a small spike towards here, like 4396, or maybe a lower, like to test this order block and then move higher. What's going to decide for me personally if I'm going to take the trades in gold is going to be the dollar index. Want to see how dollar index is going to react and what dollar index is going to do. Yesterday I said what? If market closed below 99.50, I want to be a buyer. That's the reason why I went into a long position yesterday. We're still below that part. I'm just waiting to see how market is going to react after the CPI. Markets continue to move lower. Yes, I want to be a buyer in the gold again. The only difference for me when we are talking about the gold is that I'm a little bit more scalping gold and trying to trade, trying to hold it. Because I'm looking for the setups on the 15 minutes time frame, but my entry and exits are usually on a 1 to 2 minutes time frame. The main reason for that, the main reason for that is how much gold is volatile, and if you're not trading a larger account, it really don't make sense to go and hold a position in gold, because even on the smallest lot size that you have on your retail platform, you're still going to risk a lot of money. That's why I'm rather going to try to minimize my risk by using the smaller time frames. Of course, when I'm talking about gold, I really love to look at the futures data as well. I'm always going to I'm always going to show you the retail side, but I'm always going to have on one of the screens the futures data, the volume data, so I can get the best execution possible. We have 7 minutes to go. We are going to see what's the best thing to do, but I really believe that you are more or less prepared. What also can be nice is silver. Silver worked even better compared to gold because you can open it side by side. Here, silver, here, gold. We can see that silver made the new higher high. It tested a small order block, didn't get enough push. I really believe that market will go for maybe a little bit lower and then move higher. But here, again, we have a nice flag, so longs should be the best option at the moment. Of course, you need a confirmation. Keep that in mind. It's not the idea that you are not going to just have a confirmation. So for silver, definitely London's low. From there, get some sort of confirmation, get into trade. Just looking for that market to remain creating more higher highs, higher lows. Same story in gold. Just here in gold, I really believe it's a little bit more advanced flag because in my book and how am I looking at the market is that you have a flag that contain a three legs and then it's going to continue the trend, or the flag that have a seven legs. So some sort of a double flag, let's call it like that. And I'm more looking at the gold as a potential, let's call it a double flag. At the moment, well, here we only have a simple three legs. So a cleaner setup is in silver. We have 5 minutes to go before the news. Copper, similar story to silver. We have a flag. Copper was one of the pairs we traded, I believe, on Monday as a reversal play. Worked out fine. I'm not going to say it didn't work, but it's a little bit choppy. And that's fine, more because we are in the early stages. We are bullish at the moment, so you can go with that idea of looking for continuation plays, pullback plays, while we hold above 6619. Invalidation is down here. This is the line that indicator is showing as the early invalidation part, but you can always use the highs or lows like swing points. definitely I would more love to see a further push higher, just because if you want the gold higher, if you want the silver higher, definitely copper should do the similar thing. Yesterday, Bitcoin moved yesterday lower as we expected. Trend is really hard here, more because the dollar index. If you go on the 4 hour time frame, it's choppy. For me, this is just a range. We can play the range, that's not a issue at all, but Bitcoin will always just do opposite of US dollar. So I would be bullish if dollar continue to move lower. I would be fine with trying to find some intraday scalps, but in general, I'm trying to avoid it. At this moment, I'm trying to avoid it. It's too choppy for my taste of for trading. How much we are getting the right side of the market, it's ugly. Ethereum is showing after this spike higher a potential for a long setup, but we are around the weekly open. I want to see how market will react around this area. So around 189.4. If we can find some buyers there, maybe a long can be fine towards 1930. That's all. Let's see, we have 2 minutes to go. Anchor is creating the new high. The trends show a bearish sign just because we are sideways at the moment. But if you look the higher time frame, for me this is just a flag. Like 3 leg move, more bullish. I want personally to go long at the pullbacks. Of course, if market provide you a pullback. The difference between trading, let's say, currencies, trading futures, like NQ and ES, is that on the ES or NQ, you don't always have the deep pullbacks. So you need not to improvise, but you don't need always to see a deep pullback to jump into the trades. We'll wait for the first order block on the smaller time frame, jump into the trade. That part is fine with me. Yes, similar story. Let's see, we have 1 minute to go. Okay, we have a data cap like building permits from Canada, but that really won't affect us at all. CPI as expected, 3.4, so better than the last time. US dollar again going here. Like, you see how crazy move is in. Check the NQ, went for the order block, trying to move higher. Like how we are always drawing the levels in real time. Definitely, this is more positive for the US dollar in my view. But if you want to be, let's say, if you want that part, market needs to take that NFP order block. If market can't take this part out, it's a waste of time. market quickly. So copper definitely on the radar. Bitcoin moving lower. We'll see how markets will react from here. Anchor reacted from the order block, moved towards the upside. Yeah, to just wait. Do what we said. Use the dollar index as your main indicator for today while we remain below the zone, so below 99.60. You want to be more for a push higher in gold if opportunity presents itself. You want to be more bullish for silver. You want to be more bullish for copper. But definitely copper is a winner at the moment, so I would probably try that part first. In terms of the currency market, check the euro, like we still fail to take this part. Like people usually say market broke this, and that confirms everything. I'm saying markets really, just give me a moment, guys. I'm saying market needs to close to prove, just because here this was just a quick volatility done by high frequent algos, nothing more than that. So you need to prove that part. Market have a little bit thinner liquidity, especially the currency market. So let's see. You guys, I hope you enjoyed this session. Keep in mind that we are starting our challenge for the Q4 next week. It's similar to what we have right now. The only difference is that we treat live for 2 hours. Of course, you are going to get sessions like this as well, where I prepare you on a daily basis, but we are going to trade live. The goal of the session is not to reach the 100K. The goal of the session was like the challenge was always to show you in real time how I personally trade a smaller accounts. Every time we do the challenge, we start with a 5K. And the goal is to try to see how much we can make. It's a little bit more aggressive, but most people enjoy that part. How much we can make in 3 months. First time we went from a 5K to a 35K. Second time we went from a 5K to a 55K. And definitely I really believe that we can get even higher this time, especially everything is everything is coded. You have the indicator, so it's not you just need to wait for me. If you're interested, guys, you can join up. We're also including the special discount till Friday because I want everybody to join. It's going to be fun, interesting, and you get everything. Like, keep in mind that the framework indicator at the moment is working only on the TradingView platform, but we are going to release MT5 version and the NinjaTrader version really soon. Like, we are testing them both, and as soon as the tests are done, you're always going to get access to the latest updates. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Trade safe, and I'll see you all next week. Cheers, guys.